Hi guys, today we're gonna see Django framework, which is a part of Python frameworks, and Django is a Python-based and it's an open source web framework which follows a model, template, and view architecture pattern. Uh, Django is maintained by the Django Software Foundation, and today we are gonna see what it is and how we are gonna create a beautiful, a polls application in Django. So let's start.
Now let's start with the project. So now let's go to the terminal and Django admin start project and my site, and there we have created a project now, and if you look at the project folder we can see different Python files, which is edit.py defines the project folder. Then we have settings.python file, which is a Python file that controls all the settings of the Django project. Then we have urls.py, which shows or which is used for reference and other URLs in the project. And this is an important part or important py. Then we have wsgi py. This controls the server part of the project. We will not be using wsgi Python file in our project. Then we have manage.py. Manage.py is used to manage all the part of the project. uh, now now let's move into the project folder, which is cd my site, and let's also create an app and Django admin start app, and the name of the app, which is polls. And we have created the polls app right now in our project folder. And if you look into the project folder, we can see we have created polls app, and there are different Python files over here, and we have the same migrations folder, and which we will define later. And then we have init folder which defines the folder as a Python file. Then we have admin for Python file, which defines the file as part of or creates admin privileges. And we have application apps.python file, which can be used for configurations of the application. Then we have models.py. Here we create tables for our database, and this is a part where we will control the database. Then we have test.py. Here we control the testing part of our application. Then we have use.py, which we will be used to create definitions, which will be later used in our web application. As we have created the application, and now let's just define our application in the settings file. So go to the settings file, install apps, and the name of the app, which is polls. And let us create the first view for our application. For that, go to the views application .py, and let us create an index definition, which is index, and return, which is returns the HTTP response. And let us write welcome to polls app, and let us create a URL for the project in the application. So urs.py. So we have created urs.py. That is because we have to include we have creating a specific URL for our application. And now let us create a URL pattern, and we have imported Django path, and we are saying that views.index has that function that which will be used, and we are going to import views from our Django project, and we have created URL, and now in the main URL we have to define the URL that we have created for the application. So we created by using keyword include. We are including the polls.url from our project. Now let us run the application, that is Python manage.py run server, and the server has run without any errors. And when we look at, we have welcome to the Pulse app, which is an HTTP response that we got from our application. Now we are going to create a template folder for our application, which will hold all the HTML files. For that, we are going to go to the project folder and create templates folder. And inside the folder, we are going to create another directory as Pulse. And inside the Pulse folder, we are going to create an HTML file, which is index.html. And we are going to write a HTML file which, with basic title and a heading, welcome to Pulse app. And we're going to go to the settings and we're going to include the template folder, and we're going to define it as like template dir os.path.join base dir. Now here the folder, the application knows that this is the template folder holds HTML files, and the template folder we are going to define template dir, and we are going to remove our HTTP response, and we are going to enter the HTML file we have created, and that is a request, and the application folder, that is Pulse, and the HTML file which is inside the template. And if you run our server, we have run successfully the HTML file that we have created, and this is how we run an HTML file in Django. Now we are going to create a database for our application, and that will be done in our models.py. We'll go to models.py and we'll create a class questions, which will be a table in our database, and we're going to models.model with the parameters, and we're going to create an attribute which will be a field in our database, and we're going to define it as a jar field, and which would have max length of 200 characters. We're going to create update, which would be a datetime field, which will say date published, and we are going to create a definition which is string, which is str, which returns the object of question into string, and we're going to create another class or table called choice, and we'll give attribute as question models dot foreign key, and there is it is, and questions, it will have foreign key on question, or delete, it will be models dot, it will delete from delete, and cascade, I'm going to create choice text, another attribute which will be our jar field, max length of 200, and again we are going to create another field words, which is also an integer field, which will have a default value of 0, and we're going to create again a str definition file for function which will have self.choice.text, which will convert the object of choice to string. Now, as we have created the models, we have to migrate uh, the models classes into the database. For that, we have to go to the terminal and type python manage.py make migrations. Here we are creating a migration for our application, and we are creating the migrations, and now we have to migrate, and they are python.manage.py migrate in the terminal, and the classes will be applied as tables into the database. And if you look, we have created migrations and we have migrated into the database, and this is how we create database tables in Django. As we have created the models, we have to register, or we have to display them in our admin panel. For that, we have to go to the admin.py, and there we are gonna, from models, we are going to import the two classes that we have created, that is questions and choice, which are the two models also. Now we are going to register these models. For that, we have to admin dot site dot the register and question, which will be register the question, and again admin dot site dot register choice, which would register choice, the both models, to the admin panel in Django. Now we have to create a super user or admin for our Django project. So we are going to give admin the username as admin, email address admin@gmail.com, password would be something as admin, again the password will be admin, and as I'm going to give that as, and we have created a super user. Now we are going to run the server, and if you go into the local host or the server, and if we go to the admin page, which is /admin, we'll log in as admin, which we have created by the created user. We can see the two models we have created, and we are going to create a question. The questions: how are you? I'm going to give today date, time now, and save. Now created a question in the Pulse application. Now I'm going to create a choice, and for the question I have to select question, how are you, and choice text will be fine, and I want to save that too. And now created, registered and created the models, the Django administration. Now I'm going to log out. Here we are gonna compare the questions, or the models we have created to the HTML file. For that, go to the views, and we are going to create a variable question object, question obj is equal, which is, and we are going to import models, or which are the questions and choices, and we are gonna give the object of questions to question qst obj, and through the we are gonna give a variable, sorry, it's qst which will refer to questions obj, which is the variable we are object variable, and now HTML file. We are gonna create, and this is how we run the Python code in HTML in Django, that is phrases percentage, and percentage we are gonna create a for loop of that object, which is QST, and we have to end the for loop if we have created a for loop. So again, braces percentage braces, and in there we are gonna write and for is going to end the for loop, and inside the for loop we are gonna write a hyperlink which would be the uh, object of question. So for that we have to go to the models, and we have given the question text variable or attribute in the questions, and this would be this is what which we use for that. So that we have to copy the question text, and we are going to paste it over here. Right now the object is running. Will we have all the objects of question, and we're going to go to the server, and if you look at here we have created how are you, which is a question we have created in the model before, and this is how you run or showcase the database project. Now we are going to create a choice for HTML file, and we're going to name the HTML file as choices, and now we have created the HTML file choices, and now we are going to the urls.py. It is over there, and we are going to create a path for the choice, and for that we're going to create path, and name will be giving us an object id without the question, and we are going to create a view, and will be showcase. It has to be created. We are going to create that, and we are going to name it as the path as show choice, and we have created the show choice, sorry. So we are going to the view, and we are going to create the definition show choice, and we are going to give it a request, and we are going to create a variable. Before that we are going to create a question id. Also we are going to pass a question id with the definition, and we are going to create an object qst obj, and questions dot objects dot all, sorry, get, and we are going to create a question id with it, get the question id from the HTML file, and so we are going to return the it as a request, and we are going to render the request, render the HTML dot, sorry, the choice HTML, and we are going to give choice question obj as an id. Now that's created. We are going to the HTML file, and in the title we are going to give a choice dot question strings text, and we are going to create a header which is h1, and we'll create a choice dot questions text underscore text, and we are going to create a for loop inside the HTML file using that phrases percentage, and the for loop, And inside the for loop, we are gonna create a list, and it's gonna be a list of button. It should be a radio button, and the name will be that of choice, and value also value will be of the choice ID. Then we're going to create an ID, and that will be choice. And we are going to give that choice ID a for loop dot counter, which will be a counter for the for loop. And we're going to create a label. And inside the label, we are also again going to create the for loop choice, and then we want a counter. It will display the choices using an object C. Now we go to the models.py, and we are going to create we are going to copy the variable attribute choice text from the table or the model choice. I'm going to paste that. That's the which will be choice. Choice.choice.set. Sorry, choice underscore set all. Now we are going to run the server, which is already running. And if you look at it, the application is running, and we are going to click on the how are you, and something is not right, so we are going to the index file, and yeah, we haven't given the reference for the value, and in Django we are going to give it reference of the URL, and this is how we give the URL single quotes, the view that's gonna define that link, which is going to be defined by view. And we are also going to pass a question ID, an ID for with the link or the URL. Then we click on that, and we get an error. So there's something wrong with it. So uh, let me try to find out the error. And if we go to the views.py, we have given a question ID. Yeah, that's right. And the URLs, and it's questions.id, and again we are getting the error. So we are going to the HTML file, and something is wrong with the views, and yeah, that's we haven't given the path, that is Paul/choice. Now it should be running right, and we are clicking, and yes, we get the, and there's something wrong with that too. So we are going to the HTML file, that is choice, and if you run the server, we are getting it correct. So there you go. That's how we run the we are giving database or connection to the choice. We are establishing adding choices to HTML.
Now, once you added options into the Pulse application, we are going to create a form so that we can submit the form, and we can get the number of votes in the application or in the poll. So we are going to create a form in the choice HTML, and the method is going to be post, and the action will be we are going to create a view for that, and it will be URL voted, and we're going to give a we're going to also want to pass an ID with it, and we are going to give an input, should be a type, and it will be a submit, should be a submit button, and the value will be vote. Now we are gonna give a value for the voted, which is going to be show the objects, and we are going to give a path, and to the path we are going to give the questions objects ID, and also it will be displayed in slash results, and we are going to create a view voted, which is not yet created, and we're going to give name it as voted, and inside the view we are going to create that definition that is voted, and to go to give a request, and also we're going to pass an ID with that view, and we are going to check if the request method is post, then we are gonna create an object request your obj, and it's gonna be object of the question method, and it's gonna get a value as a question ID, and we are gonna try choice obj and create an object, and it's gonna be the object of the choice method. Sorry, it's gonna be a get object of 404, which is gonna be a choice, and it's gonna also uh, give a variable or a object, pass an object with it. It's going to be a request or post of choice, and we are going to expect, which is return HTTP response, that we select an option, and we will write please select an option. If it doesn't work, then we're going to give a choice object dot votes. That's going to be going to give a value for that, and we're going to save that object, and we're going to return the request and enter the request in a false from the HTML file, that is choice HTML, and we are gonna pass an ID with it, that is choice, that's gonna which is the object we have created before, and again we are gonna return or enter a page that is the same as choice. So if you go to the server, you click on how are you, and if you vote for fine, oh, sorry, we got an error, that is I guess to go to the choice, and we haven't added the crf token, so we're going to add that. The code for that is CSRF token, and we're going to run the server and how are you, and we're going to vote for that, and yes, we have voted and show the object that has been created. Now as we have created now we are going to run the server once again, and here we are going to add more choices and questions. So we are going to log into the admin panel, and we are going to log into the add choices, and we are going to create a choice not fine for the question how are you, and we are going to save that, and we are going to add one more question, that is are you 18 and today and now, and the same. Now we are created two questions, and we are going to add choices for the question are you 18 and yes. We're going to give a choice, and we're going to give another that is no for the same question, and that's it. We have created more choices and more questions. So we're going to log out, and this is it. We have created a polls application, and if you run the server, you get the question how are you, and if you vote, if you get not fine, you vote one more. And if you go back to the page, and this page, are you 18? And if we vote yes, vote one, that is two, and we're gonna vote no. Yeah, we created a ports application in Django. And thank you. That's it for now. And hope you like this video. And